Good afternoon and welcome to another exciting episode of Live 605. Exciting for yours truly because we're going to change it up a little bit today and we're going to talk about small things and big impacts. We're living in a very strange world, ladies and gentlemen, and so I figured that impact was one of the things that we could discuss. In this case, in particular, in relation to one's shave. So we're going to have a discussion around the little things that one can do to either improve or worsen the shave. It can go either way, right? You can do tiny little things that have an enormous effect. This is similar to that butterfly effect that was very popular amongst the scientific community, chaos theory, many, many years ago, and it seems to have fallen out of favour for other more empirical theories. It's very hard to prove that when a butterfly flaps its wings in the Amazon, it causes a hurricane somewhere. Anyway, we've had lots of those and we don't want any more. Thank you very much. If you're new to the show, let us know. Say hello down below. We are going to take your questions, and if I don't answer them in this live, I will try and make a segment of it in the next episode, because a lot of people will DM me after the show and say, oh, Con, can you do this? Can you mention this? Why didn't you say that? Why? And quite frankly, it makes for a better viewing experience if I don't go through absolutely every little hello and wink and all the rest of it. I mean, I'd like to, but you know how it is. Hi, Paul, driving home, just listening tonight. Okay, well, that's very kind of you, Paul. I really appreciate you jumping on the live. It's nice to be with you in the car. It's kind of weird, but anyway, I like it. It's sort of satisfying in a way. Well, you can be watching us through Facebook, through the Facebook Stray Whisker page, through Twitter. Yes, we're back on Twitter, and of course through YouTube on Stray Whisker TV. And if you're joining us there, welcome. We've had a number of people that have said that they like watching it on replay, and that's a great thing because I probably would do the same. Maybe I'd make an effort to try and join in, but I know that this is not a sort of a convenient time for a lot of people, but that's it. Speaking of convenience though, there was an enormous amount of feedback, positive I have to say, and I'm pleased to say, about the product spotlight. So what I've decided to do is that during every live I will spotlight one product. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about one product, mostly. And when I say mostly, I mean on most lives. There might be some lives where I won't talk about a product because, my feelings around all of that. I start to break out in, I get all itchy and funny when I start talking about products and nothing much else. And I know that a lot of you out there have indicated to me that you want to know about these products and that it is quite helpful. And so if I can help you in any way, then that's a good thing. So what I'll be doing, there'll be a segment. Isn't this amazing? We started from a live, now we've got segments within the live. I do like that. So we'll have segments and it'll be the product spotlight. This was something that I did many, many years ago on the Shave the Man channel when I was doing a show called Post Shave, and I'd always bring up a product that was of interest to me and I was using at the time and I really enjoyed. So I'll do similar things here. Talk a little bit about products and all the rest of it. And if you read the description in this live, you'll know that we'll be talking about the Truefitt and Hill shave mug, but I want to talk a little bit about the history of that as well to make it a little bit more interesting for you. Now, let's talk about changes, making little changes to your shave. I put out a challenge to you that no matter how you shave, whether it's with a straight razor, a shavette, a double-edged razor, a cartridge razor, an electric razor, whatever it is, that you stay with it and do not change too many things for 4 weeks. What I mean by this is that if you're using a particular soap, you're using a particular razor, if you're using a particular razor blade, stay with it. Make observations. I mean, you don't need to take, I know there are people out there that use spreadsheets and do all that sort of stuff, but make ongoing observations and see how that particular product with that particular razor works for you, right? And then, a little bit after 4 weeks, change one thing and see if it makes a difference. Now, I'm wondering, because I know this from personal experience, that when I fiddle around with things too much, I end up cutting myself, or I don't have as comfortable a shave that I expected, or that, I was either in a rush, or, I had to shave because I was going out somewhere and it was for a particular event. And quite often, I've often said this too, if I'm away, if I'm in a hotel somewhere, my shaves are never as good as they are when I'm at home. And of course, that's because of familiarity. I know how my water lathers and all the rest of it, and there are differences and so on and so forth. So I guess what I'm saying is that small things can change the quality of your shave. I know within the shaving community, there is a propensity to want to go and try every single razor and every single blade and every single soap and go through all these different combinations and permutations, and there's nothing wrong with that per se. But if you, I guess, want to have something meaningful to say about a particular product, then you should probably stay with it and only change a few things. In other words, what I'm trying to say is you control the variables, right? And if those things work for you, great. I mean, that's right. Now, I'm not saying stay with one particular soap or one particular cream or one particular razor for the rest of your life, but I'm just saying make those observations. Quite often, I get people that DM me and say, "Look, I'm still getting some problems around my neck. I don't know what it is, and I'm still getting some irritation. I'm getting ingrowns. What's going on? I've been shaving this way. This hasn't been the thing that I thought it would be. I thought that traditional wet shaving was going to end all my problems." Largely, yes, it does do that. But if you're going to chop and change and fiddle around, you have to expect that there are going to be some variations in what you do. Not all soaps perform equally, we know this. Not all razors perform equally. And in fact, not all blades perform equally on the second or third or fourth shaves. So in other words, it's variables all the way through. If you can pin down the things that make for an uncomfortable shave, then maybe, just maybe, that will help you in producing more comfortable shaves as you go along. So this is, I guess, the sort of small changes that make a very, very big difference in the end. I had a young man that came to me recently and said, "Look, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm still getting a lot of irritation around the neck." But I recall that when he was first introduced to this way of shaving, he wasn't getting it. In other words, it had improved, but something had changed. And then we went through this troubleshooting scenario where I said, "Okay, what have you changed?" "Well, are you still using the same razor?" "Yeah, I'm still using the same razor." "Are you still using the same blades?" "Yeah, look, I more or less, I just sort of, swap out a couple of blades here and there, but I'm basically using the same brand razor blades." I said, "Okay." I said, "Are you moisturizing every day?" He said, "Yeah, look, mostly, but I have tried this new moisturizer." Okay. Now, without conducting, in-depth studies on this particular moisturizer, perhaps that may have changed his skin because he was using it for some time. He liked how it felt, how it smelt, all the rest of it. It was appealing to his better half, and so he continued with it. But his shaves went downhill. I guess what I'm saying is, without singling out any product or any individual, because I'm guilty as charged as well, I've gone through changes, that when you change a few small things, don't think that because it's one little thing that you've changed, that it may not have an effect. Now, I'm not saying there's going to have this astronomical effect where people are going to, have half their face, dripping, cut themselves up or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that for one moment. What I am saying, though, is that little things make a difference. The sum of the parts is greater than the whole in this instance. So you have to kind of be a little bit mindful of all that. I know, another thing to be mindful of, hey? Well, it's just what it is. Here are some suggestions. Okay. If you've never tried, for example, a cold water shaving with cold water, or just the temperature of the water that comes out of the tap. I'm not suggesting you, although there are people that have frozen or put water in the fridge and then used it. See how that changes things for you. Does that make a difference? I know there are people that have switched from shaving with hot water to cold, and they haven't looked back since. They said, "It's amazing. This is the best thing I've ever done. I don't know why I wasn't doing it earlier," or whatever. Personally, a cold water shave doesn't work for me. I've done it. and it just doesn't work. I don't feel that I'm getting the same sort of experience, and my skin doesn't feel the same. I don't know. So let us know. Are you a cold water shaver? I mean, it's just one of those things. Another thing that I've mentioned before is the time of day. You shave at night, in the morning. These things, these little things, because you're doing the same thing. You're removing whiskers from your skin, with your legs or your armpits or your face or whatever it is, at different times of the day. Now, we know this because of, when you first wake up, you're not as hydrated as you should be. So, waking up and hitting the razor is probably not a good idea. But doing things that you can, but changing one thing, okay, this is the thing. Don't change 5 things and wonder what went wrong. It's like determining allergies, for example. Okay, that's for want of a better term. Just change one thing and see how that works. As I said, there was a gentleman that put up a spreadsheet of the razor blades that he used with the soaps that he used. He had this enormous sort of spreadsheet that would bring tears to an accountant's eyes. I mean, what this guy knew about spreadsheets and formulae, was just incredible. So I'm not suggesting for one moment that you take it to that sort of level of precision, but it's an interesting exercise. Do we have any other comments here? Has someone just entered the room? Yes. Merry afternoon. Well, Dave, question. I only shave 1 or 2 times a week at most, no matter the soap. The face lather and the first lather I build with the longest stubble is good. However, second and third lather build is always nicer to build on the already cut face. Is this just in my head? Well, if it is just in your head, I seem to be living in there as well. I might be living in your head as well, Dave. No. The longish stubble, yes. I always find the second and third applications is always a nicer feel. This is why the very first, when you're building lather on your face, if you are a face latherer, really don't rush through that. Take your time with that and really paint it on. Like, okay, give it the old swirl, but paint it on. And I'm not suggesting that you come out with this sort of lather that's, inches thick, but just really take your time and just really build it. It still isn't going to be as good as the, after you've had a second pass. But no, it is not in your head. It is definitely the case because there is less. It might build. Okay, so it looks like the lather is really, really good because there's all these little hairs and things sticking up, which helps in the agitating process, and it helps in building the lather. It helps in creating that sort of voluminous lather. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have a nice slick lather. I've gone away from these really, really thick lathers. They look good in posts when you put them up on Facebook and all that. People say, oh, look at this. It looks like Mr. Whippy ice cream. It's fantastic with that. But in terms of performance, I prefer my lather to be a little bit wetter now and a bit slicker. So I just sort of, I don't put it on thin, but I definitely do not pack it on. I work it as much as I possibly can. So it is not in your head, Dave. It's definitely one of those things. Yes, so it's not in your head. It's in both our heads, and I need to have some espresso in my performance enhancing dry. Scott, yes, it's true. I just find that second and third pass is always better for yours truly, and it's also the case for Scott and for Dave. What can I do? Okay, now, I have been asked about gels and lather, using a shave gel. In a pinch, I would use it. If I'm going to use anything and I'm traveling and I don't have a brush or anything, look, I might use a gel, but I try not to. And it's not because of some sort of, oh, look at me, I don't use gels. It's nothing like that. You have to be practical as well. Let's not be silly about it. You have to be practical. It's just that I find that the gel, apart from the sort of list of it's a cast of thousands, it's a Dino De Laurentiis film. If you look at all the things that are in these gels, there's all sorts of chemicals and things which I don't know what it is they're doing. The slickness to me, please bear with me, feels artificial. Weird, huh? It starts off being slick and then it starts to get a bit grippy unless you throw water at it. And I suspect this has to do with its hydrating ability. So slick is good, great, fantastic. But we also want hydration at the same time. And the gel feels great when you put it on and you rub it in, you think, oh yeah, this is really slick. But I find that, because I like to take my time, it starts to get a bit gummy for me. Not all gels are built the same. There are some gels which are better than others. But I find gels don't work. So if I had to shave with something other than, a proper soap that I would lather up, I'd probably go an oil, but I wouldn't use a brush. I'd use a shave oil, and I would use the hotel towels and make a mess of them. It's bad, isn't it? That towel that was dirty and that was me. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I would do. So shave gels, again, I don't want to, I know a lot of people love them and there is a practicality there and I appreciate that. You can take them in the shower, they come in a tube, all the rest of it, or a pump pack, all that sort of stuff. But they tend to get a bit gummy. And gummy's not good for shaving. Do we have any other comments here? Tell you with Lather. Yes. Okay. Blue Mountains limousines. Back from Dubbo. Anyway, it's a little in joke there. Best shave. What is the best aftershave and oils? Right. There is a school of thought that says you can use an oil after you shave, and whether it's a pre-shave oil or a shave oil, they will suffice. I don't use oils. I feel like they clog up my pores. But the ones that we recommend are powder shaving, who's made here in the Blue Mountains, and also the Truefitt and Hill shave oil. But you got to pay the money. They're a little bit expensive, but they're a good product. And not all oils are built the same. As you know, being a man who deals in motor vehicles, oils ain't oil, Sol. Just a little reference there to a little cultural reference. But anyway, it's who was it that was Rob? Okay. Hello, Rob. So you didn't go. It wasn't Rob. Did not go to Dubbo. I beg your pardon. It's time for me to hydrate. So change some of these things, but don't change everything and all at once. Change little things and observe what happens. This sounds like common sense, but when I have people come in and say, "Oh, look, I've got irritation," or that, and I said, "What are you doing differently?" "Well, I got this aftershave with that." Nothing wrong with any of those products, but just don't go in, full pill. Quite often, in Christmas time, these large fragrance houses will put together a pack that says shave gel, body wash, and it's all in the same, they all belong in the same family of, I don't know, I'm not going to mention any names. Anyway, they're big brands and they're usually found in large department stores and they usually put 3 or 4 things in there with them. And then people jump on those and they say, right, I'm going to do the same thing that I'm doing with all these other products that I'm used to and don't get the same result. You might smell nice, but you'll be in pain. I'm sorry about that. You just will be because you're not used to that product. Change one thing, stay with it, and learn before you burn, we say, right? Before you start to jump on a product and say, oh, look, it's terrible, it's hopeless, it's not working, it's not great for my skin. Just stay with it. The same can be said for cartridge versus DE razor. Not everyone's a DE fan. I don't know how that happens, but they're not all fans. You want to use a cartridge razor, that's fine. There are some people that jump from cartridge to DE, cartridge to DE, cartridge to DE, and I don't know how that works. It's very hard. If I'm playing the synth, I'm not going to jump on the drums. I'll stay on the drums or the synth or something. I don't know. It's like a symphony. Anyway, that is it. As far as all of that is concerned. If anyone has any comments, I'd be pleased to take any comments before we get into this new segment. I told you we're doing a new segment now, the product spotlight, and we'll be talking about this very exciting product. In fact, our friends from Blue Mountains Limousine might be interested in this because it's kind of retro and a bit vintage. It is very vintage. So without further ado, let's do the product spotlight. Yes, product spotlight, here we are. Well, welcome to the product spotlight for this live. We've had these in store before, but I think it was time that we spoke about them. But before we speak about the new stuff, I want to show you where this stuff has originally come from. This is something that looks like it probably belongs in St. Mary's Cathedral. It looks very ecclesiastic, and it's quite ceremonial, and you know, you could almost perform the Eucharist or something with it. But let me tell you that it is they call it a shave mug. This is not a shave mug, ladies and gentlemen. This is a shave scuttle because it looks a little bit like a coal scuttle. One places the soap in here. You'll see little drainage holes there. You place a little puck of soap in there, and then you fill it with water through here. And then you place your cute little brush in there like so. And then when you're ready to shave, you know, you load the brush. And this particular one has a nice little brush stand. It's very, very cute. It's not for sale. It is a piece, an antique piece from the early 1900s. There are ones that wish they were from the 1900s that look something like this. Similar sort of scenario here. We have all these little perforations where the tub, the soap sits in the top there, and you place some water in there. Hot water, not boiling, right? We don't want these little hairline fractures occurring in these beautiful little scuttles. And then you load the brush as you normally would. Now, earlier today, I figured I should record a video showing you exactly how this works. I didn't want to make a mess of the place. So I will talk you through this, and without further ado, here it is. This is the Truefitt and Hill, what they call shave mug, what I call shave scuttle. So the green one is my particular favourite. It's got a beautiful sort of gold edge on it. They've done a marvellous job there. I wouldn't know, they've been around since 1805. Very, very nice. You take the puck. Incidentally, the ones that we sell come with a free puck. These are about $15. All you do is you take the puck, wet it, or just place it in the top there, and put in some, as I said, hot, not boiling water. It just needs to be hot, and fill it. And of course, the steam will be rising up through the top there and also hydrate the soap ever so slightly. You take your brush, which has been soaking in there, wring it out. This is a synthetic brush. Works with Badger as well, and you just have at it. You make an absolute mess like I am here. No, that is not the lather. That's not even proto-lather. That's just a mess, right? That bubbly stuff that you see there is not lather. You've got to keep going, and this is the problem. A lot of people think, oh yeah, 30 seconds. No, I load my brushes and my soaps, particularly hard soaps, for anywhere up to 60 seconds. You know, longer the better. This is the part of the shave that I really enjoy. And then either go to your face or a bowl. And here I'm building that particular lather. It's taking off a little bit from the side of the shave mug or scuttle. And there's plenty of product there, and you just go for it. And you'll see that pretty soon it builds this nice peaky lather, and it's very, very nice. Remember, I've said this before, the brush is not obliged to give up its soap. You need to bring it out of the brush. And in this case, it's quite easy when you're doing it with a bowl. You can also bring it out when you're face lathering, but simply just have at it. If you need to add water, you can, and you can get that water from the side there, from that little shave scuttle, which is lovely. And then you're done. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So this is I'm going to actually show you the mug that I used earlier today. And the soap, it sits in there. It's not going anywhere because once it becomes wet, it sort of adheres to this beautiful shave scuttle. And I've got the link at the bottom of the video. This happens to be the green one. They come in red and grey and navy blue. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. They're bone china, and they're made in England, right? So you're getting bone china here. I know they kind of look like something your nan would have in a sort of, your grandmother would have somewhere in a display at home, but you can use them. I like them. There are people that collect them. They are practical, but you've got to love this kind of, you've got to love the whole traditional, ceremonial thing of, putting the soap in and doing it. Incidentally, so the soap is $15, but you get one with this. These are retailing for $105 with the soap. The soap is included. But when you run out of the soap in 15 years, you can come and see me if I'm still here. They will last for 15. Well, some of them last for 15 years. They will last a long time. And this here, I can see if I can get my face out of the way. Can you see that? No. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Will set you back $15. Now, there are larger pucks that you can use, like the Taylor of Old Bond Street. These don't quite fit in there. This is a smaller puck. So if you really, really want to get it to fit in there, then just use a pocket knife. But don't do that. It's not really worth it. Use the dedicated soap. And they also come in a wooden bowl if that's your thing. The scent of this particular soap, it's got a bit of lavender in it, but there's other things going on here. If you said to me, Con, this is the only soap that you're ever going to use in terms of scent, and as a body soap, for example, right? I'd say, yeah, fine. It just smells amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful smelling soap. Remember, I'm not saying that it's beautiful, beautiful smelling. If you said to me, this is the only shave soap you're going to use, well, then I may have to be scheduled. I'd probably lose it. But if you said to me, this is the only soap this scent is the only one you could use to wash your hands, body, and all the rest of it, I'd say, you know what? It is beautiful. It smells really, 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 really nice. And it's the luxury range. So that's it. And it's called mug soap. It's a mug size, yes. So there's mug size. I'm a mug anyway. There's a mug size and then there's the regular size. But you've got to get the mug size to fit this beautiful bone china piece, which I say $105. It's not really that much because, as I say, there's a bit of gold around there. It's just they do a very, very beautiful job. These look really smart. The navy one looks, and the red look particularly nice. But yeah, that's staying there. I will demonstrate that to people that come in and show them how it all happens here in store. Could you put one of these in here? Yes, you could. It's roughly based on the same sort of principle. These are they're kind of a knockoff, okay? And we'll probably have these in store because people are asking for them. They come in, they see them. It solves the problem of buying a gift for somebody that wants to go down that traditional pathway. Do we have any other questions here? Right. Con, my husband uses Edwin Jagger pre-shave cream. Yes. The pre-hydrating lotion. Yes. But he would prefer a pre-shave oil that is a lot smoother. What do you recommend? I would recommend the Truefitt and Hill. If he must use an oil, and there are people that swear by them, and oils are great, I love the oil when I'm getting a shave. So if someone's going to shave me with a hot towel and all the rest of it, you can't beat it. The Truefitt and Hill is top notch. They use high quality oils. It's very luxurious. It looks like a little cognac bottle. Please don't drink it. But that's what I would recommend. I think that's really great. Yes, well, Pegleg, you can use olive oil. Yep, that's fine. But I might have to eat you. I don't know. The olive oil thing. Look, I'm Greek background. Whenever you say olive oil, I get hungry. I want to eat. I don't want to shave. Whenever you say olive oil, the first thing I want to do is eat. It does work. It can be a bit thick, though, and viscous. So, yes. Thank you. Thanks for that. So there it is. There it is. That's the product spotlight. See? Wasn't that hard, was it? So they're available, as I said, in different sizes. The link will be, it's definitely on the YouTube page, but it's also on the Facebook page. There's a link there that sends you directly to the page where these beautiful, that make a great gift. Although it is getting a little bit late now for gifts. I think postage, you're really pushing it now. I think the 17th, Australia Post, who we use, says that you really should get things in by the 17th. I wouldn't trust that. They're backlogged. Okay. That's it. Tom said, Tom, buy a mug. Buy one of these mugs and you can have a gin and tonic out of it as well. That's what I would use. Oh, it really, really, it smells like soap should smell. It's got that real old world. Oh my God, I love it. Luxury soap, that's what it's called, $15. Anyway, that's it. That's it for me. We'll see you in the next live. Until then, please stay safe. The world is becoming quite tricky at the moment. There's a lot of challenges that are being thrown up, but we will be here for you. Until then, we'll see you in the next live.